This is cause 674-516, State of Texas versus Monica A. Garcia. My understanding is Ms. Garcia has been charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated. Second offense date November 27th, 2021. And she received a violation report on or about December 23rd, 2021. And the violation report indicated that she was still consuming alcohol and had a high breath test of what was it? 102. And I think at that time, the court ordered her, she was originally on a Smart Start mobile device, which she was using, or we wouldn't have that result. But the court ordered her on a Scram device and did a bond increase and ordered her on weekly UA. Does that sound right, Ms. Ion?
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and for the record, Ms. Garcia is represented by Ms. Marissa Ion. And anyway, so I guess Ms. Ion, you're requesting that we don't do that. Is that kind of where we are?
Well, yes, Your Honor. There's a couple of things that we're requesting. One is that the court not ordered her to use a Scram, and actually, if she could use the ignition interlock. We had previously done a motion to change her bond conditions to a ignition interlock instead of Smart Start mobile. I know that she's been having some issues trying to get the windows because of her work. She's not able to get to use it, and with the Scram as well, even though it's on her, it would very much detract from her work and work performance. So I foresee that if we were to go with the Scram and continue on the Smart Start mobile, she's just going to have more violations, not necessarily with the high brag. I've already admonished her about that. I don't think it was alcohol. I think it was mouthwash, but I've already admonished her about that. But I don't want to set her up for anything that's going to have her to be here multiple times with missed windows and not being able to pay for the Scram or have any further violations.
Okay, well, I feel your pain. However, my concern is she's blowing legally intoxicated while she's on pretrial. She's already on DWI second pretrial. She's got 2 strikes on her already, and I don't want her to kill anybody or herself. And the only way I have to ensure that if she's drinking, we know about it, is the Scram device. That's my problem. I understand it's expensive, but going to jail is a lot less fun than paying for the Scram device in my experience. And those are my only 2 options. But let's let the state weigh in here if we could, Marissa, and see what they suggest or recommend.
Judge, since this is a DWI second and the very high level of that violation, I would absolutely agree with Scram. I think that's necessary at this point.
All right, Marissa, here's what I suggest. Is she already active on a Scram device right now?
No, she is not.
Okay, has she posted the new bond yet?
No, she still has a warrant. We would need the warrant to be recalled.
Okay. Well, I'm not so excited about the bond increase I am about her being active on Scram. So here's the big deal of the day. Get her active on Scram. She can do that without getting arrested, is my understanding. They're not going to send the police over looking for her. Is my understanding. Anything's possible. The warrant's still hot because she's still a violator. But if she gets active on the Scram device, I'll recall the bond increase and reinstate her bond. So that's 1 for the defense. Check. You saved her $500 or something. And then 2 is I want her on weekly UAs. If she shows me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row, I'll put her back on monthly UA.
Okay.
I think probably alcohol is our primary problem, if not only problem. But we don't know that for a fact from our side. So that's why I'm not taking any chances with her. But we do not use the ignition interlock, because in our experience over the last 40 years, really sharp drinkers have 2 cars and one has the ignition interlock on it, and they use that one when they're not drinking, and the other car does not have it, and they use that when they're driving and drinking. And so we've had lots and lots of new DWIs from people who are allegedly on ignition interlock, if you can believe that. The Smart Start mobile device is the point of least resistance, because in a perfect world, they're only blowing every 6 hours, and that'll pretty much let us know the majority of time if they are consuming alcohol, but we can monitor them 24 hours a day, not just when they're supposedly driving. So that's a problem with the ignition interlock.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand that. And the reason why we were asking for the ignition interlock or the Smart Start mobile is because of the windows. She's not able to remove herself from her job during the windows, which would cause her to have violations, which I believe on the report, it shows that there was a test or two that was skipped because she's not able to remove herself from her job.
What is your job? What is your job position, please?
She works with Wells Fargo, and she's on the phone talking to clients. She told me from 11 to about 7 o'clock. I think it's like a customer support, and she supervises others.
Are you aware that defendants have a 2-hour window to blow in for each of those 6 blows?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And so she's telling us that she can't go to the bathroom and blow in the machine, or she can't, whatever it is she wants to do. But I'm not buying that argument, I guess, is where I'm coming from. That's insane that she can't go take 5 minutes out of 2-hour period and blow in the machine.
Well, and at that we would, if this court would remain with the Smart Start Mobile, if we could at least move the windows to accommodate her work schedule. Since she says she doesn't really even get a lunch,
Well, I'm gonna accommodate her work schedule with a scram bracelet, then she doesn't have to blow into anything. She'll be fine. Let's do this. Normally I crank them in there for 90 days on a scram thing. I'll just make her 60. But I'm telling you, because I will not, we have 2,000 defendants we're trying to monitor, and we can't keep up with them all. So in 60 days, after she's active on the scram bracelet, if she does well for 60 days, I'll take it off and put her back on the Smart Start mobile device again. But I won't know if she's done that. You got to bring it to my attention, or we'll just go merrily along and she'll have a scram bracelet for the rest of her life.
No, I understand that, Your Honor.
Is there any chance of resolving this case now that you have 2 DAs here that are very kindler, gentler, and will be happy to work you a deal?
I would entertain a conference with them if they're available.
Can one of y'all go out and chat with Miss Ion on this case, and the other one can do my MTR for me? ADAs? Who's doing the MTR?
I think that was Ross, yeah.
All right,
So
Ross, can you stay and do the MTR? And then Eddie, can you go into a breakout room with Miss Ion and talk about the possibility of resolving this case?
Absolutely, Judge.
All right.
Yes.
Good.
Eddie, go into room 2 and I'll put Miss Ion in room 2.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Brendel, we're ready for you if you are.
Okay, I talked to her. I'll first talk about the allegations for the drug testing. She's not sure.
Hang on just a second. Let's go back on the record on cause 635-213, State of Texas versus Angela Cherie Ravel, which is the second amended motion to revoke community supervision. And Ms. Ravel is representative of Mr. Ross Brendel. And Mr. Brendel and Mr. Ravel have been in a breakout room chatting about this case. And now they're back. So go ahead, Mr. Brendel. I'm sorry.
About the additional allegation of the missed drug test, I talked to her and she may have missed one while this MTR was pending, while we submitted a motion to set bond in the case. Besides that, I'd like to add that her probation officer actually wrote her a letter, a recommendation letter, which I would like to read to the court. This is, of course, Ms. Garcia's writing. This has nothing, the defendant didn't write this, so anything that's in that letter is not any kind of admitting anything by the defendant.
And what is the name of the author of this letter, who I guess is Ms. Ravel's probation officer?
Yvonne G. Garcia, Community Supervision Officer 2.
Okay.
It is dated January 4, 2022. It says, to whom it may concern, since being placed on community supervision on February 4, 2021, Ms. Revel has reported monthly as instructed and has made great progress in paying her court-ordered fees in full and completing all court-ordered requirements in a timely manner. Ms. Revel continues to report with a positive attitude and has kept me up to date with her recent transgression and current situation. She has been extremely remorseful and is dedicated to rebuilding what has been lost along the way. Ms. Revel is fully invested and desires nothing less than optimal results for herself and her family. She is taking full ownership and accountability for her actions. If I can be of any further assistance, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully, Yvonne G. Garcia, MAA, Community Supervision Officer, 2nd, Bexar County Community Supervision and Correction Department. I'd like to add, I did provide the prosecutors with a copy of this letter. And it will show that Ms. Revel has done a great job so far in her probation, and that this was something that just came out of nowhere, and that previous to that, she had done everything that she was supposed to in a way that her probation officer actually wrote her a letter of recommendation.
Okay, that was very kind of her. Susan, for whatever reason, I do not have the document I normally have on all these MTRs that shows the background of the defendant and the recommendation of the probation department, whatever that document is called. I'm looking for it to see if I can find it.
The court summary, it was sent to you.
I don't have a court summary for some reason. Let me
It
look.
was sent to you. You want me to send it again?
Sure, if you wouldn't mind. Mr. Brendel, have you got a copy of the court summary?
The complete of all the allegations and everything.
I think it just talks about like the defendant's prior criminal record, if any, and what the recommendation of the probation department is, that kind of stuff.
Oh, no, I wasn't provided with that. I was conferring with the prosecutors about it earlier, but I don't have a copy of it.
Judge, I just sent that to you. It's the very first one on the list.
Okay, I'm looking.
It's the same list I sent you a few hours ago and yesterday.
Glory be, there it is. Stand by. All right, give me 2 minutes. I'm printing in the other room. Okay, Mr. Brendel, we're back in action.
I'm here.
Back on the record on cause 635-213, State of Texas versus Angela Ravel. I just received the court summary, which I'm perusing at this time, and it talks about a bunch of positives for benzodiazepine, but she has a prescription, so that's not relevant. And she's done some classes and lots of classes, it looks like.
Judge, there's some questions in regards to the medications, which I'll discuss during my
Sure.
summary.
All right. All right. So at this point in time, Mr. Brendel, we are back to square one with regard to what Ms. Ravel is willing to plead.
I talked to her and she's willing to admit that she did drink maybe a little bit, but in no way did she break any laws or anything as far as that's concerned.
All right. So are we talking about at this time, is Ms. Ravel, I don't want to put words in y'all's mouth, but is she willing to plead not true with an explanation to number one, which alleges she committed the offense of DWI, and true with an explanation to the others admitting that she had some alcohol to drink and that she missed drug testing, looks like twice?
Yes, she did miss drug test while we were trying to get bond posted.
All right. So the court accepts a plea from Ms. Ravel on cause 635-213, not true with an explanation to condition one, alleging that she committed a new offense of DWI, and true with an explanation that she was drinking alcohol on or about 11/21/21, and that she missed drug testing for whatever reason on or about November 2021 and December 2021. Susan, does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we got that. All right, Susan, at this time, please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Ravel's probation.
Your Honor, Ms. Ravel has done well with her reporting. We last saw her on January 5th, 2022. Her case is paid in full. She has completed all 40 hours of community service, as well as DWI education, victim impact panel, and the CAT-SNP program. She was successfully removed from the Smart Start mobile device on September 13th, 2021. In regards to her drug testing, she has had 7 positive drug tests for benzodiazepines. She claims to have a prescription. She's had 1 negative drug test. She's failed to submit to drug testing on 1 occasion, and she's had 1 diluted drug test. Now, with regards to the alleged medication that was provided to her officer, what it is it's a photograph of the name of the medication. There is no date visible. So there is no way to know if that was a legitimate prescription at that time that would result in a positive test, or if it was an old expired prescription that was taken for other reasons.
All right, let me hold you short there, because my understanding is she's not charged on this motion, on the second amended motion to revoke community supervision with violations by coming up positive for any other type of drug. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm just giving you the background, Your Honor.
You agree, Mr. Brendel? And we're not going to consider that. We're good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Susan.
And if she is continued on probation, we would ask that she provide written documentation of the medication. She does have a new driving while intoxicated that is pending, and this new offense occurred on 21 November 2021. This is her first violation report, first MTR. She has no prior arrests, and her officer is requesting that her probation be revoked.
Okay, Mr. Brendel?
That's basically, that's what we stated earlier. I'm not sure why her officer is asking that her probation be revoked. We did read a letter by Ms. Garcia stating the opposite. So there looks like there's some decisiveness or some split opinions as far as that's concerned. So I'd like to point that out. And we do request that she is kept on probation, especially since
this is very strange. Ms. Gross, are we correct that Ms. Garcia executed that letter on behalf of Ms. Revel?
I have absolutely no idea, Judge. I have not seen the letter.
I understand. Well, let's say for the sake of conversation, we assume she did, and then she recommended revocation. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Judge, I don't know when that letter was written. So I really couldn't say. It may have come, that letter may have been written 3 months into her probation when she was doing great.
Let's ask. I understand. Mr. Brendel, do you have a date on that letter? And you probably told us before, and I just missed it.
It's dated January 4th, 2022.
Okay. Very strange. Mr. Brendel, what else are you requesting? I assume you're requesting that she stay on probation. Is that not true?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm requesting that she's stays on probation and then, has some additional classes or something to, account for that. And like I said, I'd like to point out that her probation officer did write a letter in support of her. So,
okay.
Like we talked about earlier.
Is Mr. Bell? Go ahead, Susan.
I believe that recommendation was made based on the fact of the new arrest. And if she's continued, that she would, the officer is asking that she be on weekly UAs.
All right. Mr. Brendel, is Miss Ravel willing to go on a scram bracelet for 90 days?
It's more, I think, just from the past clients, it really is, like you pointed out earlier, the cost of it being close to $400 a month is really hard on a lot of our clients. So that's something I'd have to discuss with her if she was willing to do that, or could even afford that.
Here's the big deal of the day. Go ahead and give me your recommendation. Then I'm going to tell Mr. Brendel what my options are.
The state would recommend scram for 90 days, Judge.
All right, Mr. Brendel, here are my options. A, revocation and 6 months in jail, at which point you might want to talk to the state about taking into consideration the new case. That's up to them. Or B, she volunteers to go on the scram bracelet at $350 a month if she does well for 90 days. And I guess she's coming up toward the end of her probation. We need to extend her probation. Does that sound right, Susan?
Judge, her probation is set to expire on April 3rd. So if you wanted to allow it to expire at that time, we would just ask that she remain on a scram device through termination.
Today is January, February, March, April. All right. Well, I'll stick with my original 90 days. If she does well 90 days, we put her back on a smart start. Those are my two options, Mr. Brendel. You don't want to go in the chat room and chat about it, but it's revocation and 6 months in jail, or she volunteers for the scram bracelet. That's the only two options I have available for her. She's also going to be on weekly UAs. She shows me 4 clean weekly UAs in a row. I'll take her off of weekly UAs like everybody else.
Okay, I'll if you could please put me in a conference room with her, I'll discuss it with her. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Okay.
Come off of YouTube, Miss